Lyft President John Zimmer joins me from Harlem. So, John, tell me what's going on uptown today.
Yeah, so we just launched a bike access initiative with LeBron James giving bike memberships on City Bike, which is a Lyft-operated and owned system, to thousands of kids across New York, 16 to 18-year-olds, making sure that they can get where they want to go, whether that's school, a job in the summer, or really wherever they want to go. And it's all part of a broader effort called Lyft Up, which is our initiative to make transportation more accessible to everyone.
And so how does this partnership come about? How did it come about with LeBron specifically?
So LeBron's manager, Maverick Carter, and I have known each other from probably the beginning of Lyft. And he was one of the first people that really believed in me and what we were doing. So we've been talking for many years, and we wanted to work together. And we wanted to be truly authentic to who he was, who Uninterrupted his company is, and who LeBron is. And he told me the story about how important the bike had been for him and LeBron when they were growing up to get them to practice. And so the idea was, now that we run the largest bike share program in North America, let's make that accessible to those that don't have access to transportation.
And so help us understand this sort of in the context of the broader Lyft initiatives. How do bikes fit in?
Yeah, so the goal with Lyft is to be your one-stop shop for all your transportation. So, we started with that rideshare vehicle that everyone's familiar with, that gets you a ride within 3 minutes wherever you are. Then we added shared rides, we added bikes, scooters, we now have transit in the app, and rental cars we've actually launched in San Francisco and Los Angeles. So the idea is more and more people will come to Lyft to use us for all their transportation needs. And that's important in the US because today our cities have been built around the automobile. And American households spend $9,000 owning and operating a car that they use only 5% of the time. And we think there's a much better way to save people money and make it more enjoyable to get around.
And so talk to us about the sort of the competitive landscape around bikes specifically. Obviously, it's not a new technology in many ways, and yet there is some disruption going on. City Bike obviously has been pretty popular here in New York City. What are you learning as you get deeper and deeper into this business?
Yeah, what we're learning with City Bike is that scale really matters. So we have exclusive operations for bike share in New York City and a few other cities across the country. And what's critical is that you get up to a point where wherever I am in the city, I can get access to a bike. And you make that membership affordable for people and easy, and then ridership changes. And then cities start adding more safe bike lanes. And that's really important because when it's safer and easier for people to get around, they use those different modes. And obviously in cities when population density is rising rapidly, we have to use all these different ways of getting around, whether that's transit, bikes, rideshare, or otherwise.
So what are you learning when it comes to bikes in terms of the complication, especially as it relates to the rest of your platforms?
Yeah, so each mode you have to invest in and go really, really deep. So with bikes and scooters, you have to get up to a certain scale. You have to get really good at making sure there's bikes where people need them, that they're charged if they're electric bikes. When you're dealing with hardware and making sure it's available at all corners of a city, obviously that's different, but there's a lot of relation to rideshare because we have to make sure our drivers are well positioned throughout a city for when the demand comes. So mapping demand and the supply, whether that's a rideshare vehicle or a bike, there are actually quite a bit of similarities.
All right, so if I have you here, I got to ask you a little bit about cars, and obviously a bike takes a human to very much be invested and paying attention as he or she is driving on two wheels. What's the future of autonomous driving at this point based on what you guys are seeing across your business?
Yeah, so over the next few years, we already have in markets like Las Vegas and Arizona, some of our self-driving partners live with Aptiv and Waymo. And I see it growing out as a small percent of our rides to maybe something like 10% of our rides and then 20%. It's not something that overnight autonomous cars do everything, but I do believe autonomous will be launched on a ride-sharing network like Lyft because we have all these other modes of transportation and other ways to get around for an autonomous vehicle that can only do select things.
All right, so John, I want to ask you a little bit of a political question here. A lot going on back in California as it relates to how you and Uber deal with the gig economy, all those sorts of regulations. What do you make of this idea, this announcement today, that Uber might let some drivers set their own fares? Is that something you're looking into as well?
I'm not going to comment on any specific features that we may work on at some point. But I can tell you that, I think what's happening in California is a big opportunity to think about how to combine the benefits of this new type of work with benefits that workers deserve. And so we're navigating that and excited about the next year ahead.
All right, so one last question about bikes. You did this deal with LeBron. Are there more, not that there's anybody exactly like LeBron, but do you expect to do more deals like this to further expand the bike share business?
Yeah, bike share is just at the beginning. So, we're now in 8 cities across the country with programs like City Bike, which is what we have here in New York. The program for Lyft Up to bring access to others. We're doing grocery access. We're doing jobs access to get people to job interviews. And today we launched Bikes Access with LeBron. We hope to do more like this, but it's really important to us that it's authentic. And that's why we decided to work with LeBron and Uninterrupted, because it is authentic to what he wants to do, who he is, and what helped him get to where he got.